What's going on in Grimesland, North Carolina in November 2022?
But first, let's hit it. Hi, this is Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Honestly, we get calls and texts all the time at 252-327-3357. So we love talking to you, so don't be shy. So let's talk about Grimesland. And now, one of the reasons we do these numbers every single month and this numbers report is you can really understand on a macro level what is happening in our neck of the woods. Because honestly, what's happening in California is California. And just because something is happening in LA doesn't mean that it's happening here in the Greenville area. In this specific case, Grimesland.
And first, make sure that you looking at our video while living in Grimesland, North Carolina, because we gave you lots of insight about that.
Right, but again, these numbers tell us really what is going on here in our numbers. And we do this monthly, so you can always get monthly updated numbers and view. And if for whatever reason the video doesn't post, call us because we're happy to talk about the numbers and what is going on specifically every single month. So here we are in November. So what we do the first week of November is we look back at the previous month and we see how many homes are listed on the market, how many homes went pending, which means under contract, how many homes sold. And then we look at year-over-year differences and month-over-month differences because this kind of tells us what is happening here. Right?
Exactly. Basically, all this number that we gave you, which is based off the supply and demand, and tell you exactly what is driving the market and what you expect for the home prices and what we have suggested for the buyers and seller. Without any further ado, we're going to start with the inventory.
Right, so let's start with new construction because new construction can always change things. But however, here in Grimesland this month, there was only one new home, which is an increase of 0. So, I mean, the fact that there was only one new, which is good. Now, the monthly supply in Grimesland is a little bit more than other parts in Pitt County. It is already at 2.6%. 2.6 months. Sorry, I don't know why I said percent, but 2.6 months. Once we hit that 6-month mark, that means that we are 100% in a buyer's market.
Exactly.
Before that, it's a seller's market. However, it is more monthly supply in Grimesland than in other places. In fact, it is up 188.9% since the previous month.
Increasing. And definitely, if you looking at the active homes in October in the last 30 days was 16, and also a previous months before that in September 2022 it still was 16. Therefore, we didn't have a new listing really for that.
Or we did because there was 9 pending homes, which is great. That means that the house is pending, which means
went under the contract.
It's under a contract, which means it's going to sell. It's just under a contract right now.
But if you compare it for the last year, we had just the 7 active listing in October 2021. That means we had 128% increase.
Right, and then looking at the previous month in September, there was only 3 pending. So we do see that there's a lot more pending right now there in Grimesland that just weren't, so they took a little bit longer. So next month, I would suspect, since that pending went up, or that under contract went up, that these numbers will change dramatically next month. So, but the home sold in the previous month was 7, and the month before that was 7, and the home sold last year was 14.
Which was 50% decrease, actually.
Now let's talk about these days on the market because it has grown in Grimesland.
Therefore, also on the top of the inventory, days on the market also is an indicator that tells us what's going on with the market. And the days in the market in October 2022, average days on the market, it was 38 days. Respect to the September just was 8 days. Therefore, you see the huge significant day on the market.
Now, again, this is just like a macro number. What we're not seeing is really in detail of what is going on with these houses. Are they good quality? Are they the really bad quality? Like, we're not seeing that in these numbers. We're just looking at what the base numbers are. And there is a huge increase of what sat on the market.
Yes.
So the absorption rate which
is another metric basically to show
you. Okay, so before we get into that, days on market last year was 11, which means 245% increase from last year. Okay, yes. Absorption rate, what is that?
The next metric that we wanted to talk is absorption rate. That again tells us that we are in the buyer's market and seller market. And looking at the numbers in October 2022, we had 2.23 absorption rate. What was in the September?
2.04.
Therefore,
And then last year was only 0.86.
Therefore, with the increasing the absorption rate, we are saying that we are getting a little bit distance from being a buyer's market in the Grimesland, North Carolina.
Now, this is not all bad news. So let's talk about sellers and like home prices and median prices and sales prices. So list price October 22 was $426,000. And the median in September, which is the month before that, was $435,940. But however, from last year it was $179,000. So the year-over-year average is still 137% over from where we were last year.
Don't be afraid. Why? Because last year we didn't have that many of the new construction, no? And then having a lot of the new construction the past 6 months in the Grimesland really up that number. Price.
Okay, let's talk about the median sales price. The median sales price in Grimesland in October was $258,000. This is actually, since September, which was $350,000, it is very significantly down. And compared to last year, it was $297,500, which is still down. So it is down from the year over year, 13.28%. But again, how much of that was new construction and how much is it now that there's no new construction? We can see that there's changes happening.
Therefore, this is the one that we wanted to look at, it sales price, not exactly the list price, because that is what the seller wished for to sell their house.
Right. There were 4 price reductions last month, which means that people are realizing that their home isn't selling at face value and they have decreased their prices. 100% of houses listed.
And then we wanted to tell you the median price per square feet for all homes, including the condos, townhouses. There were $164 per square feet. What about the single family home?
Also the same, $164. I don't know what's going on with me today. So, I mean, that's a down and dirty, quick way to say how much your home is worth when you just look at how much square foot is times that number we just gave you, 164 in November. And that might not be perfect because, definitely you need some expert eyes to really look at details. But that 164 is a base number.
Therefore, what do you suggest for the home buyers and home sellers?
Now, if you're a home buyer, honestly, Grimesland needs to be a second look. It's super not far from Greenville. It's super close. And yet we can see that it's slowed down there a lot. So if you're a buyer looking for a deal, I would start sniffing my nose over there in Grimesland. Now, if you're a seller in Grimesland, you're really still close to Greenville. If your house is in awesome condition, if you are really taking care of the place, you're still not going to have any problems to sell in this kind of market.
Good.
You just have to take care of the house. So we just can't put any old thing on the market. I would just say make sure you take care of it. If it looks great, it's still going to sell no matter what. So
don't forget to subscribe in our channel. See you in the next podcast and video.